Before the video starts, I'd like to thank Benny Production for picking up my entry in the top 30 of the Benny Spooky Editoire. I honestly didn't even think he would see it, so ending up at the 23 spot is huge for me. If you haven't seen it, you can find the making of my entry on my channel. I put a link in the description. Congratulations to the winners and to everyone who entered the contest. I've spent a lot of time going through the entries and I was mind blown by some of these. With this being said, let's get to it. Halloween season is just over, but I had one last spooky thing in mind for this purpose. I am a kid from the 90s. I grew up with a dad that loves video games, so when I was old enough to hold the controller, my father let me play with this bad boy. For some of you it might look like a toaster, but this thing is actually the first console I ever played, and I still own it. For my 6th birthday, my parents got me what is still one of my favorite consoles ever, the Nintendo 64. I spent hundreds of hours playing Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Banjo and Kazooie, and I could go on for a long time. This birthday gift played a big role in making me the geek I am today, and in the fact my girlfriend has to deal with a dozen of retro consoles displayed in our living room. I had the idea to make an artwork paying homage for this console and the whole Nintendo universe, but with a bit of a Halloween / spooky twist. I'm thinking of a scene that would look a bit like what my child bedroom would look like. Some posters on the wall, action figures, and some VHS tapes. An old school CRT TV on the little stand with just the N64 plugged on it. But here's the twist. The cartridge playing in the console is actually a cursed cartridge, and it would summon the Nintendo characters as if they were some kind of ghosts, making them enter our world through the TV screen. I honestly have no idea what techniques I'm gonna use to bring this idea to life, but that's the whole point, learning new things. So let's fire up Photoshop and get started. I started by setting the perspective of the scene with the shape tool, then added the TV and made a temporary TV stand just to know where it would be. I brought the N64 and I ended up replacing it because it was too hard to fix the perspective on the first image. Then I brought the cartridge and I made a custom label for it with my logo. I then added the controller. And I made the cable connecting it to the console using the pen tool on stroke mode. I used the shape tool to build a TV stand and I will get back to it later. I used wooden texture for the floor according to the perspective, and I did the same thing for the wall with the brick texture. I used the pen tool again to make the controller plug and the cable coming from the console to the TV. The TV has no front slots for the N64 cable, so I made them using simple shapes with bevel and emboss. You'll get why I need this cable inside in a moment. A 90s kid bedroom will be nothing without posters, so I took images from old school Nintendo games such as Super Mario 3, A Link to the Past, Yoshi Island, and a Pokemon first gen poster. I scaled them to the right size, fixed the perspective, and then added a huge bevel and emboss to add a bit of sheen to them as real poster would. I used another wood image to texture the whole TV stand, and then I painted shadows with exposition adjustment layers. As much as it's a video game theme artwork, it's also a horror theme artwork, so I decided to bring in these classic horror film VHS tags and put them on one of the TV stand shelves. And then I added a Jason action figure because why not? Some Super Nintendo cartridge on the top shelf and we're good to go. I started to make a bit of shading and color correction as I want the room to be dark. and it was time to bring our soon-to-be ghosts in. Of course, Mario is part of this, and I realized it would look odd for him to have this happy look, as I want them to look evil. So I first got rid of the Mario Party Cube, then got rid of his mouse and drew a new one in, and I made him frown like to make him look mean. Finally, I masked out Yoshi and gave him the same mean look. Pikachu was already a PNG file and he looked pretty mean already, so I had nothing much to do about him. I placed them where I want them in the composition, and it was time to make them look ghostly. Using levels and hue and saturation adjustment layers, I gave them this bluish tint and then set the blending mode to overlay so you would see a bit through them, mostly through what should be black areas. Now it was time to make them look like they're coming out of the TV. For this part, I was really going with instinct, as I've never done this before. I knew I wanted some kind of swirls in the center of the screen, so I went with a bunch of clouds and water texture to try to sell the effect. I tried to merge the liquefy effect with some smoke and lightning, hoping it would look decent. I decided to give them big white glowing eyes. I would make them look even more evil. And of course, Pikachu had to get those cheek lightnings. I made a copy of the whole group and applied radial blur on zoom mode to get this kind of light rays. I set it on linear dodge blending mode and painted only the area I needed with a soft brush on the layer mask. I added a scanline texture to the screen to make it look like a glitching TV, and decided to apply this texture to the ghost as if they were kind of buzzing, if that makes sense. At this point, I need to make it look like these ghosts are coming directly from the cartridge throughout the screen. That's why I had to remake video cable and to have it in sight on the TV front. I'm using different lightnings with outer glows and some highlights to make it look like they're going through the cable to the TV. the overall scene lighting, I just used some hue and saturation and exposition adjustment layers on each part of the scene to light it correctly. If you had one of those, you know there's a little red LED on the front of the N64 that lights up when it's on. So I used some solid color and soft brush to make it glow. Made some light cast on the floor as well as little highlights that you can see if you're not zoomed in 300%. I added some mist for some more atmosphere. Still using the brush I made using Benny's Spooky Edit War stock, but it was laying around and I was too lazy to find another one at this point, so it will do the job. I tweaked some things here and there for a good moment and added some particles, set them to the right colors, and painted them only on the areas I want them to be seen. I took the whole thing inside of camera raw for some final color grading and stop. At this point, I took a few minutes to look at this artwork and there's just something wrong with it. I'm not happy with the results. The top area is too bright and most of it is really busy. We hardly can see the cable going in the TV. The liquefied blending into the smoke texture doesn't sell well. I just don't like it. So here, I had two options. I can simply call it a day and bin this, and to be honest, I considered doing it. Or I could just go back in time. Do you ever feel the need to clean your place before doing something so you would feel better doing it? Well, that's exactly how I felt at this point of the process. I just went back on it, got rid of every layer I don't like and reorganized the whole project, layer by layer. Once I was done, I simply started over. I took a few more hours to figure out a new way to sell the effect. I remade the screen swirl effect with pretty much the same techniques, but trying to make it more simple and less messy overall. And I used the liquefy and smudge tool to blend the characters into it. I'll shut up for a little bit and I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of the time lapse. wow. This one was challenging, to say the least. I almost gave up on it at some point, but as the whole point of it was to learn more techniques, I kept going, and I really liked the end result. As I tend to do with most of my artwork, I made a version of it as if it was a movie poster with the title The Ghost Cartridge. I know, that is really original. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and learned something along the way. If you want to stay updated about the next videos, please consider subscribing to the channel and turn the notifications on. Thank you for watching. Until next time.